call to order this meeting of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners. This is our first regular meeting of the year, and I'd like to welcome our newest commissioner again.
Recording in progress.
8th Ward Commissioner Pam Cross. Welcome aboard, Pam.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you. I would note that all commissioners are here, and we did meet in executive session to discuss matters of personnel and real estate. And we'll begin the meeting with a pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence. And if we could prevail on Diane McNaughton to lead us in the pledge, I would appreciate it. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We will begin with approval of minutes. Well, let's start with petitions, complaints from citizens. Does anybody wish to address the board tonight on any matter, whether it's on the agenda or not? Okay, hearing none. We'll move into approval of minutes, December 14th, 2023, Board of Commissioners, regular meeting.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the minutes of the December meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion.
And I will add that, subject to the two minor corrections that I made earlier in the week, I forgot.
Gotcha. Next up is our January 2nd reorganization meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we go into one of our favorite parts of any agenda, which is recognitions and presentations, and I would turn it over to Public Safety Director Rob Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, first, on behalf of the Susquehanna Township Police Department, before we start, we send our prayers and our thoughts to the Scranton Police Department, who had an officer shot at 4:30 this morning and is in critical condition. Before I call the officers up one at a time to have them be promoted before you, I just want to say a few words about the police department and about our profession. First, as it relates to crime and law and order in our country right now, there are those of you who may not be interested in crime, but make no mistake, crime and criminal offenders are interested in you. Tonight we promote 4 great men, but it's important to note that these men are reflective of all the great officers of our department. One of the things that leaders are required to do is to define reality. I want to share 3 realities that have been defined for our officers and how they approach these realities on a daily basis. First, community policing. Community policing is one of our core realities on this police department. We know that our daily engagement with our citizens is the key to controlling crime in our township. Whether it is countries or policing, we know that those with allies thrive. Our citizens are our allies. They are not our adversaries. Robert Kennedy once said that every community gets the kind of law enforcement that it insists upon. And our community insists upon community policing. The second reality, there is decline in some of the areas of our township that require acute codes and quality of life enforcement. Our officers have recognized this reality. They have filled the void and stepped into that gap. Other police departments may not necessarily do that. It's not in our job description. But together they make a meaningful attack on these issues that contribute to crime and blood. And the reality is that our officers refuse to allow this township to fail. That's a reality. The third reality is danger. Going through a door is dangerous. Many of the officers that I know tonight will have received a life-saving medal, or 2 or 3. That's because police departments are life-saving organizations. Last week, I shared with you the FOP report that there were more officers shot in our country in 2023 than in any history of the FOP completing those reports. And if you read it, you would have noted that Pennsylvania had the second most amount of police officers shot in the line of duty last year of any state in our nation. The danger is real. 0.0024% of our population in this country presently serve as law enforcement officers, and that's declining. Our officers don't come to this government complex in the morning, in the evening, and on weekends for coffee, cookies, or a kitchen. In fact, we don't even have a kitchen because we don't need it. They report here to affirm the sacred oath that they have taken to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. When I think of these officers, when I think of the officers across this nation, I'm reminded of the scene in the movie A Few Good Men, when Lieutenant Weinberg asked Commander Galloway, "Why do you like them so much?" And she replied, "Because they stand on a wall, and they say nothing's going to hurt you tonight, not while I am on watch." So here's the reality. Every 51 hours in this country, an officer's killed in the line of duty. Our officers know that reality, yet they continue to suit up. And for that, they should be commended. Detective Darrell Brown. Well, first I have to request that the patrol officer first class civil service list be certified.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Our first recipient, he's number 1 on the patrol officer first class list, is a proud graduate of Elizabethtown College, where he played basketball for 4 years. Currently assigned to the Criminal Investigation Division, he's on the Dauphin County Gang Task Force, he's on the Pennsylvania Attorney General's Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. He serves as one of our firearms instructors, armorers, and red dot instructors. He's received a life-saving medal, Order of Honor medal, Award of Merit medal, and Rotary Club Officer of the Year, and I had to pry it from him today. He has also been inducted into the Elizabethtown College Basketball Hall of Fame. So, you know, when I think of the future of this police department many years from now, I think of this young man. You know, if you go back, if you remember Gomer Pyle, there, you know, when they would film the scenes in Sergeant Carter's office, there was a poster with all the ranks of the Marine Corps, and there was a saying on that poster, "The ladder of success." Well, this is just the first rung of a ladder of success for this young man. So I'm very proud to present him with Patrol Officer First Class citation, knowing he that reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, fidelity, and abilities of Darrell Brown, that he is appointed as a Patrol Officer First Class. He has my recommendation.
Mr. President,
Sir.
move to promote Darrell Brown to Patrol Officer First Class.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. Go.
Officer Brian Aponte Lorenzo. Immigrating to our country from Dominican Republic at the age of 15. Played college baseball at your college and has been a lifelong baseball player. Let me say that again. I like long baseball. I can stop right there, right?
That's good in my book.
He's currently assigned to our CAT unit. Our CAT unit is our community action team. It's comprised of 2 officers, and in addition to doing community policing, they're essentially a street crime unit. And I can tell you since July, they have recovered numerous weapons, made numerous criminal arrests, tracked down fugitives for warrants. They're doing an outstanding job. I'm very proud of them. Brian, too, is a recipient of the Life-Saving Medal, Unit Platoon Citation, Award of Merit Medal, and was the Department Officer of the Year. It gives me great pride to present Brian with his citation, that knowing, reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, fidelity, and abilities of Brian Aponte Lorenzo, that he's appointed Patrol Officer First Class. He has my recommendation, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Mr. Engel.
I move to promote Brian Aponte Lorenzo to Patrol Officer First Class. Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Vallona. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Moving up the ladder of succession. Corporal Julian Gomez. Corporal Gomez grew up in Queens, New York City, moved to Reading when he was in high school. He has served in the United States Marine Corps and United States Marine Corps Reserve for the last 17 years, at which he still serves in the rank of gunnery sergeant. He has a bachelor's degree in accounting from Alvernia College, which I was reluctant to say, because I think the finance director is not going to request to borrow him at times. He's currently on our honor guard detail. He serves as a negotiator in the Dauphin County Crisis Response Team, and he is one of the most rising stars on our police department. So it gives me great pride to recommend Julian Gomez, knowing that he reposes special trust and confidence in his patriotism, fidelity, and abilities, to appoint him as a sergeant of police. He has my recommendation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Engel.
I move to promote Julian Gomez to the rank of sergeant.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Heswell. Any comments or questions from members of the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Sergeant.
We have a pinning. Thank you. Congratulations, Sergeant. Lastly, calling up Sergeant Alex Wagner. Sergeant Wagner served in the United States Army for 9 years, ending with the rank of Staff Sergeant. He served in combat operations in Iraq as an intelligence analyst and lethal targeting NCO. His section was the 3rd most successful lethal targeting section in that battle space in Iraq. He worked for the Pennsylvania Attorney General's Office in the Bureau of Narcotics Investigation. He's the recipient of numerous military medals. He's currently a team leader on the Dauphin County Crisis Response Team, where he has been awarded 2 medals of heroism, life-saving medal, and is now a 2-time recipient of the Medal of Valor. Recently, he and his wife were voted the Central Pennsylvania 40 under 40. Alex serves in numerous training capacities on our department, to include firearms instructor, de-escalation instructor, less lethal munitions instructor, and many, many more. On a personal note, when I talk about rising stars on our police department, he defines it. That's who he is. And we have a very young patrol force right now. He's going to be the patrol lieutenant out there working shifts, mentoring these young officers, teaching these young officers at a critical time, quite frankly, in the history of our police department. So it gives me great pride in him reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, fidelity, and abilities of Alex Wagner, that you appoint him to serve as a lieutenant of police. He has my recommendation.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Engel.
I move to promote Alex Wagner to the rank of lieutenant.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Colonna. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Couple pinners coming up. President, members of the board, I want to thank you. And before I step away, I just want to recognize, I know that all of you know the transition the department has been going through, and we have a lot of young officers in various assignments. I want to recognize two people here tonight. Corporal Doyle, step in here. Clee Tillman, stand up. This man stepped up as a PFC into a sergeant's billet the past several months and held a platoon down. And Clee, I just want to publicly thank you. Not one complaint. He stepped up into it, and he got the job done. Corporal Doyle is now running a platoon. He's stepping up into a sergeant's billet. He's going to get the job done with no complaint. That's who these officers are. We'll get it done. We'll get there. They know they have a lot of young officers under their, under their tutelage. But I want to thank these two guys for stepping up into billets that are way over them right now. But we'll work that out in the future, I assure you. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to reports committees. Buildings and Grounds, Commissioner Rothrock.
Thank you, Mr. President. All I have to report is that we've obtained the occupancy permit for this building for our renovation.
So we were illegal before?
I don't know, but we're legal now.
Legal errors.
All right, Budget Finance, Commissioner Sanderson.
No report, but at some point, Mr. Manager, we should think about sometime in February, mid to late February, something like that. And in the meantime, if there's repeating, we have a 4 to 5 year rolling plan here. We still do have a structural deficit. Any member of the board, please give us your thoughts, your priorities. It's going to be a long year, of course. We're getting an early jump on it, but if you have any ideas, I know we have like large infrastructure projects and lots of things going on. Please shoot them to Dave. Call us. Let us know. We'll put it on the list of things to do. Santa's list. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works, Commissioner Napper.
Yes, Mr. President. In the month of December and January, I would like to congratulate the Public Works personnel. The staff replaced 400 feet of pipeline on Dean Road, along with 21 inlets throughout the township. By utilizing the Public Works staff, this is a huge cost savings instead of performing emergency repair requests. And as a final note, Mr. President, I received numerous phone calls and messages concerning the excellent road condition throughout the township. With 50% of Public Works township staff, which is new, the snow routes training is now being given to our Public Works staff. Last year, we had 13 drivers, and we now have 17. So I would ask that the township residents please be patient. It takes about 8 hours to plow the entire township. And this ends my report, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Public Works.
That's 110 miles, actually 220 lane miles.
Wow.
So it's a lot of plowing to do.
Yep.
And,
Great job.
Yeah, I think we've all heard, most of us have heard great comments and compliments on your work this year, so thank you.
And Mr. President, I'd like to just add, I know later in the agenda, we're approving the final monies for the road work that was done in 2023, and I just want to commend everyone involved with that again, because I think we did, the township did an excellent job in moving that along. That was, I know we want to, I think, be on a faster track this coming year, so anxious to see what happens, but I just wanted to comment one last time that I thought the projects we did in 2023 were excellent, and I'm glad to see we're coming to a conclusion on those with this final payment tonight.
Thank you. Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Barczyk.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a reminder that Penn Waste will be conducting the pickup of Christmas trees Saturday, January 13th, as well as Saturday, January 20th. If you have a real tree that you want picked up by Penn Waste, you can put it at your normal site for trash disposal, whether that be an alleyway or a curb. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Administration and Personnel, Commissioner Knapper.
Yes, Mr. President, the Admin Personnel Committee recently met to review the employee performance evaluations, merit adjustments, goals, and training requirements for staff of 2024. Other topics discussed include the Police Department reorganization chart and appointments to authorities. And this ends my report, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Please, Commissioner Engel.
No report.
You already had your spotlight. Fire and EMS, Commissioner Hissarell.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Rothrock.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was a joint Planning Commission and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting on the 18th of December. Unfortunately, a quorum was not present at the meeting, so no action could be taken by the Planning Commission. But the consultants from Campbell Thomas and Company presented a draft of the township-wide bicycle pedestrian and greenways plan. And that meeting began the 45-day public comment period for that plan. So if anyone has a comment to make or comments to make, now is the time. I'm not sure when the 45 days ends, but the sooner the better. There was a zoning hearing board meeting on the 3rd of January. There was only one item on the agenda, which was 4613 North Front Street. It was requesting a special exception to expand a non-conforming business use and to get variances that will be required to do the parking configuration that was shown on their plan. It's a combined district. That part of it is commercial office limited and the other is industrial general zone. The request was approved by the zoning hearing board. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. The School Board, Commissioner Falona.
No report, sir.
Thank you. Authority, Commissioner Knapper.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
the Sewer Authority Board met January 9th to hold the reorganization meeting. Election of officers was appointed and committee assignments were given. Southeast Sanitary Sewer Extension projects continue. And this month, Modern Recovery Service, MRS, will review delinquent sewer accounts. A complete list will be completed by March, and shutoffs will begin in April. And this ends my report, sir.
Very good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Shade Tree, Commissioner Cross.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Shade Tree Commission's next scheduled meeting is January the 17th, which will be next week. That's the end of my report.
All right, thank you. Communications, Commissioner Barczyk.
I don't have anything at this time. I'm new to this
Yeah.
position. Is there anything that we need to report on, either?
The draft newsletter is being finished up right now. It's anticipated to go out at the end of January. I don't know the exact date, to be honest, but that's where our main communications. We're also working on one of the features of Zen City is a kind of combined social media outreach, so you can schedule different posts and it automatically will adjust it based on what social media venue we're using. So that's something that we're going to be looking at implementing more. It's already part of our contract.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Human Relations Commission, Commissioner Cross.
Yes. After the Human Relations Commission will be meeting on January 17th, and actually it's the Shade Tree will meet on the 18th. Sorry if I mixed up the dates.
Okay.
That's the end of my report.
Are they, I guess they're doing a reorganization of, at that time?
That's correct.
Okay. Good. And Human Resources is Commissioner Cross as well, but nobody knows what that committee does, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I have no report.
All right, thank you. Parks and Rec, Commissioner Falona.
No report, but the next meeting will be on Tuesday, the 16th of January.
Very good, thank you. Next up is a hearing, and I'll turn the figurative gavel over to Mr. Miller to run it for us concerning a stop sign in Wedgewood.
Mr. President, now is the time and place advertised for a public hearing on ordinance 24-01 of Susquehanna Township, amending Chapter 15 Motor Vehicles, Part 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 214, stop intersections, established by designated a stop sign on the northbound approach of Wedgewood Road at its intersection with Cloverfield Road. It is a requirement of Pennsylvania law that we pass an ordinance when we designate stop signs like this, and although people may from time to time find it silly that we would take as much time as we do with this, people always ask us, why is this light here or not here? Why is this stop sign here or not here? So it is important to put into the record and give the public the opportunity, if it wishes, to comment on this particular stop sign in this particular location. And so as this is a public hearing, if there are members of the public that would like to step forward and testify about the placement of the stop sign, now is the time. Going once, going twice, going three times. For completeness of the record, if Mr. Verbulka, you have anything to add to the record on this, or the commissioners do, that's something we could take at this time.
Nothing for me, thank you, sir.
Anything from the commissioners?
This has been duly advertised.
This has been duly advertised, and this is recommended after a study from the police department that the stop sign be placed on the northbound approach of Wedgewood Road.
I don't know if Commissioner Engel has anything he'd like to add at this point, it being his board.
Nothing to add other than it's needed.
There you go.
Mr. President, hearing no other further comment, I close the hearing and ask the board to consider, if it wishes, adopting the ordinance.
Okay, close the hearing.
A motion to close the hearing and a motion to adopt ordinance 2401 will be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Comments or questions? So this does both. This closes the hearing, plus goes to adopt the ordinance. Any comments or questions on the stop sign ordinance? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Bang up job, Solicitor.
Thank you.
Yep.
I return the gavel to you. Better hand.
Got it, literally. Resolution 2024 R01, which is,
That's what we just passed.
No, this is the next one.
that's the next one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we said it.
Thank you.
Intermunicipal cost sharing agreement with Dauphin County for the Dauphin County Bridge Bundling Program Municipal Round 2 to replace the superstructure of the Cone Road Bridge T431. Mr. Verbulka.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board has with your agenda this evening a copy of the resolution that would authorize President Lynch and myself to execute the agreement with Dauphin County for the Bridge Bundling Program Municipal Round 2. As you probably recall, this was recently discussed, well, sort of recently anyway, in June of 2022, where the board authorized the execution of the same agreement. However, because of delays in federal funding, the project was waylaid temporarily. All's well that ends well, though, because we were able to effectively take advantage of some additional federal funding, reducing our local match for the superstructure replacement of the Cone Road Bridge from $303,000 to $36,140. The project did increase in cost while our local match went down. The new estimated cost for the superstructure replacement is just over $1.8 million. That is going to be augmented with a combination of federal, state, and county aid. So we appreciate all of our partners at the different layers of government for their assistance in completing this capital project. We anticipate design beginning sometime this year, and hopefully construction will begin next year. There is yet to be consideration given to some alternatives for that bridge if it needs to be closed or temporarily detoured. You may recall that in 2023, you authorized an alternatives analysis conducted by HRG to develop some scenarios to consider for the duration of that bridge construction, or should it further degrade and require closure or additional weight restrictions. We hope that won't be the case, but because of this additional funding that's been made available, as well as the recent award of the Dauphin County Transportation Infrastructure Safety Improvement Program grant for approximately $270,000, we'll have some available grant funding for that temporary bridge or alternative when the time comes. So that's something to look forward to with respect to this project. But right now, a new agreement needs to be executed, so staff is recommending that the board adopt the resolution authorizing the same this evening. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to move to execute the agreement with Dauphin County for this bridge bundling program relating to Cone Road Bridge.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Isro, seconded by Commissioner Knappel. Any comments or questions?
I would like to make a further comment as well. In reading this, in preparation for the meeting, how impressed I was with the facts you just made in terms of our share basically comes down to 2%, $36,000 on a $1.8 million project. This goes back to comments I made a few months ago when we approved the budget that, you know, to the extent that we can find ways to fund projects and whatnot with as little township money as we can, this is a prime example. This is something that really needs to be done, and the fact that 80% of it is being funded by the federal government and another 15% by the state and the county and us, the rest is just a tremendous result for us. And I'm looking forward to that construction being completed.
All right, any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 24R04, which would appoint 5th Board Commissioner Sean Sanderson to serve as Assistant Secretary of the Board of Commissioners at the reorganization meeting that the Board of Commissioners did designate Commissioner Sanderson to serve in the role of Assistant Secretary. There's just a couple of things we need to do, as Mr. Perboca will explain, to nail that down and finalize.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. The board has with your agenda a resolution that would affirm the appointment that was made at the reorganizational meeting of Commissioner Sean Sanderson to serve as acting secretary of the Board of Commissioners. This is authorized by the First Class Township Code. The First Class Township Code obligates the municipality designating an assistant secretary to establish a compensation for that position, if there will be one, as well as any minimum bonding requirements. The recommendation and what is reflected in the resolution would be to set that compensation at $0 and for the minimum bonding requirement to be set at $1,000, which is the minimum bond allowable. Because this position won't be handling any township funds, there's no need to bond this individual. Staff is recommending that Commissioner Sanderson be appointed to serve in that role. Sorry.
Do I have to recuse myself?
I'll move for the,
So moved.
Only if he's going to vote against.
Second.
It's seconded. Who made the motion?
well, actually, I started, but
Fred. Okay, let's have it. Any comments or questions? All's in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Start our wave.
Mr. President, I think in the agenda, we may need to get back to R2 and R3, which we may have skipped.
There were two that we missed after the bridge. 3 and 4.
The bridge,
Yeah.
It's the two-sided, yes, that is what it is.
I see with me on this board that the funds are starting to multiply on a regular basis.
All right, first omission was Resolution 24R02, which would enable the manager to execute a streetlight services agreement with PPL Electric Utilities Corporation. Mr. Perboca.
Thank you, Mr. President. The resolution with your agenda this evening would authorize an amended agreement with Pennsylvania Power and Light for the installation and maintenance of streetlights on certain township streets that have been delineated and appended to that resolution. These include 2 new LED Cobra head style fixtures on Hickory and Chestnut Avenues, and then a dedication of streetlights or acceptance of streetlights in phases 7 and 8 of the Stray Winds Farm development on Gallant Fox Drive, Antonella Drive, and Citation Drive. The installations that are to be accepted as part of that land development plan are a requirement that PPNL has in order to begin with the installation of those lights. The township would not begin to pay for those lights until they are fully operational. However, it is also a prerequisite of the acceptance or consideration of acceptance of any dedication of streets associated with that development, that those lights be installed and operational. So everything is in your agenda. I can answer any questions you may have, but staff is recommending approval of the resolution this evening. Thank you.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Comments or questions?
I'm sorry, just a brief comment. There's like 10 pages of streetlights with this. Is this like every streetlight in the township and when they were installed? Is that just a summary of? I was trying to make sense of it.
It would be every streetlight that is on the PPNL rate tariff. So there may be some that are privately owned, there may be some that are very few, I believe in this case, but there may be some that we pay, that we own, we pay a meter, that are metered and cut off like any other utility.
Okay.
But these are the ones that are on our rate tariff.
Okay, thank you. I was just trying to make sure I understood it.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Barcheck.
So my question is, does this agreement include the maintenance of streetlights?
Yes, they will replace, the agreement is, the tariffs are 10 years. PPNL will do any replacements, any bulb replacements or diode replacements for LEDs for the duration of that agreement.
Okay, because in the past, as you're aware, we've had issues with getting bulbs replaced. Sometimes it takes months to get a response from them. Is there any teeth to that in the agreement that requires them to replace it?
The lengthier agreement, and this is kind of just an amendment to the longer streetlight agreement, does have some expectations, but they're not really standards in terms of how quickly they'll get to them. I think part of the issue has been they've had some turnover with their staff for light replacements. We had a good representative with PPNL for a few months that was pretty responsive, but as I understand, she's no longer with the organization. So I've been working directly with the individual that's in this division of PPNL, and he also seems to be responsive. To my knowledge, though, the master agreement for the streetlights doesn't have any performance indicators or anything that they're expected to meet or metrics in terms of how quickly they respond.
Thank you.
And usually weather plays a part in that as well. You know, if they have to ship them out, PPNL to another area, they'll use that as an excuse as well. I mean, helping other states.
I think the advantage to having LED lighting in place of the high-pressure sodium lights that we had replaced in 2018 is that they have a much longer lifespan. The bulbs don't blow like the older light fixtures do. They just sort of dim over time, but they last a much longer time. So hopefully we won't have as many of those issues with the new LED standards.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is Resolution 2024-R03, which would, it covers the ADA accessible parking space at 1 Hemlock Court, Harrisburg, Susquehanna Township. What's that one on?
Thank you, Mr. I think Director Martin is probably celebrating with the newly promoted officers, so I can be the designated hitter to keep with the baseball theme on this one. Provided with your agenda is a resolution, it would, as the preamble indicates, authorize the installation of an ADA parking space at 1 Hemlock Court. I've also included with your agenda material the analysis that was done by the Department of Public Safety and recommendations to authorize the same. If the resolution gets approved this evening, we would do the installation of the ADA parking space in-house as soon as we can, given weather and other staffing priorities. So we are recommending approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we did our 04. Mr. Sanderson. Number 6, final minor subdivision plan for Laurel Hill, AKA River Bend, lot add-on for lot 60. Ms. Logan.
Thank you, Mr. President. With your agenda, you have the staff summary of outstanding conditions and review comments for a lot line adjustment between 1828 Pebble Court and 1836 Ethan Drive. The purpose of this plan is to subdivide Lot A, which is 4,034 square feet, from Laurel Hill Lot 60, and combine Lot A with 1828 Pebble Court for a total lot area of 45,710 square feet. The project is located in the R2 medium density residential zoning district and in Ward 9. A waiver from Section 24, 403 preliminary plan requirements is requested by the applicant on November 27th. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the waiver from this section and approval of the plan subject to the following conditions. Number 1, address all outstanding comments provided by the township engineer in their letter dated November 20th, 2023. Dauphin County Planning Commission in their report dated November 27th, 2023, and the township staff report dated November 27th, 2023. And to provide a copy of the revised deeds for the township staff to review. So we are recommending approval of the waiver from Section 24, 403 preliminary plan.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then we were looking for approval, a recommendation to approve the Board of Commissioners, sorry, I'm all jumbled up. Approve the minor land subdivision plan for Laurel Hill lot add-on for lot 60, subject to the conditions recommended by the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Paloma. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So, get kind of confusing here. So, did number 6. So now we're on staff reports.
Yep.
Mr. Manager, do you have anything?
No, everything is in your packet. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Public safety, police, anything, George?
No, sir.
All right. Community and economic development, Betsy?
You have my report, but I just wanted to give a couple year-end highlights. We had 17 subdivision and land development plans come through our department this year, which is more than I think I've seen since I've been here. 21 zoning hearing board applications, and we've issued over 1,359 permits, which is combined with building, zoning, and all of our street cuts, every permit that we issue. And we have had 3,166 inspections, so that's all for 2023. That's my report.
Busy.
Well done.
Thank you. Public Works?
No report.
Great, thank you. Law Bureau?
Law Bureau has nothing to report.
Thank you. Parks and Rec? Is there anything?
Doug Knaus was not able to attend this evening. In your agenda is the 2023 year-end report. If there's any questions that I can't answer, I'm happy to relay them on to Director Knaus and provide a response at a future date.
I will just comment, it was an excellent, thorough report. Enjoyed reading it and seeing all the things that occurred last year.
All right, moving on to old business. And on to new business. The consent agenda. You have something, Carl?
No, I was just asking, we went right from old to new.
I know.
I done old, right?
Sunrise, sunset. Consent agenda has a bunch of items. Statement of bills paid, financial security deductions number 6, and number 2 for stray winds in the amount of $1,485 for phase 7 and $7,700 for phase 8. Application for the paving program, the amount of $6,479.50. Administrative office renovation authorization to pay in the amount of $50,397.50, in addition to $2,256.24. The township retainer agreement with HRG. The authorization to advertise the 2007 street sweeper on public surplus, which is a new service for us. Approval of the 2024 salary wage listing for all employees, and appointments to authorities, boards, and commissions. As to the last one, do we have a list or an indication of which vacancies there are and who candidates are?
Yes, sir. It's in the packet. There was one question that was raised with respect to the residency of a vacancy applicant for the Human Relations Commission, Ms. Whitney Lupton. I was able to confirm prior to the meeting that Ms. Lupton is a township resident. She's recently moved from the city of Lancaster, and appreciate the catch, and she would qualify under the ordinance for appointment this evening. And the rest of the appointments are in your packet as well. We have a couple of new faces on there, Ms. Lupton and Mr. Brian Latour is is eligible for requesting appointment to the Planning Commission on the core board. We recently had a resignation due to a individual moving out of the township, and so Mr. Latour would fill the remainder of the vacancies term.
Way back. Yeah. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. For the purpose of discussion, in addition to what Manager Volka just described to us, Brian Latour is being put forward as a member of the Planning Commission. He's new. Ms.
Lupton.
Is being put forward for the Human Relations Commission. So in addition to that, we have expressions of interest from East Pollard for reappointment, Jeff Patton for the Civil Service Commission. Health Board, we still have one vacancy that we need to fill. Human Relations Commission, in addition to Ms. Lupton, would be Jeff Champagne coming back and Kristen Herman. Industrial Commercial Development Authority would be myself. Planning Commission would be Bill Thomas and Brian Latour. For the Property Maintenance Board of Appeals, Matt Bonanno. For the Recreation Advisory Committee, Richard Norford, Pedro Mora, Tanya Ward, Mike Lewis. And on the Shade Tree Commission, David Rocaseca. Vacancy Board has already been named, but memorialize it, Mona Johnson. And the Zoning Hearing Board, the appointment was made in December, and that's Ember Genberg as a member of the board. So, with that, are there any comments or questions on any of those items that I mentioned as we consider the consent agenda? All right, well, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up is the authorization of the public hearing on an intermunicipal liquor license transfer application from 320 Chestnut Street in the city of Harrisburg to 4351 Garrison Avenue, Susquehanna Township. Mr. Volker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Township received an application for an intermunicipal liquor license transfer that would come from the city of Harrisburg, the premises that was formerly the Dewberry Restaurant, or licensed establishment of the Dewberry Restaurant, 320 Chestnut Street, into Susquehanna Township. The licensed premises would be 4351 Garrison Avenue, which is part of the Susquehanna Union Green Development. The applicant, Permanente Corporation, intends to open a Permanente Brothers restaurant at that location. Applicant submitted the requisite application fee and all supporting documentation as required by Township Ordinance and the Pennsylvania Liquor Code. The Liquor Code stipulates that a public hearing would be scheduled and advertised 2 consecutive weeks, not less than 7 days prior to the hearing, nor more than 30 days prior to the public hearing. So staff is proposing that the public hearing take place on Thursday, February 8th, 2024, at the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting. Public Safety Director Martin has reviewed the request and has no objections or concerns about the transfer. Staff is recommending that the board authorize the public hearing pursuant to the Liquor Code on February 8th, 2024 this evening.
All right, is there a motion to set the hearing date?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for Thursday, February 8th, during our regular meeting. Comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is authorization to submit a redevelopment assistance capital program, commonly known as RCAP, grant application for the construction of a new fire station for Progress Fire.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the Commonwealth has recently opened a grant round for the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant. Applications require legislative sponsorship, which we are happy to secure from Representative Fleming up to the 105th, and appreciate the work of his staff in facilitating that. Staff has received authorization from the Dauphin County Department of Community and Economic Development to submit the application utilizing their line item appropriation for the round. Staff is seeking a grant of $2 million to offset the cost of construction for the new Progress Fire Station. Total project cost estimate is approximately $8 million, and we have funding appropriated in the 2024 annual budget to begin preliminary design, engineering, and start getting the ball rolling on that new facility. So staff is recommending authorization to submit the grant this evening, which has a deadline tomorrow.
Mr. President,
Mr. Hisaro.
I'd like to authorize the submission of a redevelopment assistance capital program grant application for the new Progress Fire Station.
Second.
Moved and seconded by the sitting commissioner in the 6th Ward, Mr. Van Loden. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner comments? I'm hearing none. You guys hear anything? No? I hear none. I got none. Oh, here we go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're out of here.